Welcome to the Mike Harts Trucking Podcast, where positivity meets transportation. Here's your host, Mike Harts.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mike Harts Trucking Podcast. We're super excited for our first guest. Actually, it's Ryan Mohamed. He's an awesome man of logistics. He does a lot of things. Ryan is a logistics professional and host of a popular podcast. And with over 7 years of experience in the industry, he's developed a deep understanding of logistics. And we're just going to pick his brain and have a little fun. We're going to welcome him to the stage in a minute. As always, I just want you to visit MikeHarts.com. I come from a long line of dispatchers and a lot of trucking industry experience, and I'm super excited to share that today and as always. But I want to welcome my friend Ryan to the stage.
Good morning, brother. How you doing? How's everything going, man? Thank you for that amazing intro. As a host, it's always myself to do the research, so it's always kind of cool to be on another podcast and get to chop it up. So I'm honored. As you mentioned, the first guest, I'm even more extremely honored. And we'll have some fun this morning.
I wanted to thank you, bro, for all your help in getting me started in this in the podcast game and things like that. I really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, anytime. I truly believe in, it comes kind of from my spiritual background a little bit. My motto I gotta live in life is lift as you climb. So I don't gatekeep anything. Anything anybody wants to know that I've had the fortunate pleasure of doing, I'd love to share that information because, like I said, I think I made Instagram post over the weekend, brother. And I know it's a little bit off topic, but I said I don't want to be remembered as somebody who collected things and just kept things. I just want to be known as somebody who really shared love till the end. So anytime anybody out there, I'm looking forward to, and I'm hoping to bring some of our guests onto your platform as well. So I will talk about that a little bit behind the scenes.
Can't you feel when someone's vibe is to help others? Can't you just feel that sometime? I think we get so much in this rat race, and Ryan said something really cool.
Yeah, lift as you climb. As I'm climbing through that mountain, I'm going to carry some people with me, So, if we even get a little bit spiritual, it's like, the Lord's our shepherd as well, right? So he's just there to guide us, brother.
Psalm 23, that's what I'm talking about. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your kind of experience in the logistics industry and kind of the things you do?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for the opportunity. I always kind of think about these kind of questions, kind of like the like anytime you watch a comic book movie, like a Marvel or a DC movie, they got that origin story, like how did Spider-Man become Spider-Man and how did Captain America become Captain America, right? So for myself, specifically in the industry, it found me. I always ask that to people. How did the industry find you? Because I think nowadays people can go to school for supply chain and trucking and all that stuff. But for me, I was working, I'm based in Toronto. I was working downtown Toronto for a company that's like StubHub. It was like a ticketing company, like a ticket marketplace. And I thought downtown Toronto wasn't all that it seemed to be. So I just honestly just pushed out my resume everywhere. And I got a call from a logistics company, a 3PL company. And funny story about that, I actually looked up that company. Didn't find much online, and this was about 6-7 years ago. I did see in the building that there was a Prime America office, so I said, screw that, I'm not doing this. So I actually canceled that first meeting because I thought it was Prime America, to be completely honest. And then after a couple of weeks, I kind of looked at it and then I asked, hey, is this position open? Can we interview it? I did that. So actually, I recommend everybody to start the kind of like the same lane that I personally did. I actually started in operations. So I did dispatching and did operations for the top sales guy in the office, learned how truck works, how many pallets you can put in a truck. He did a lot of flatbed and open deck stuff, so I got to learn that niche. And then after a year, I decided, I'm gonna go into my own thing. I want to go into sales as well, and he was there to support me. So I would say a year in dispatch, and then like over 6 years in sales. It's helped me with some amazing customers and amazing companies. I'm at my third and final company as a freight agent. Truly loving the grind, truly loving everything that we learn about logistics. And then on the side, like we kind of mentioned at the beginning about the podcast, Sales Chatter Live, where our mission is to help 10,000 sales reps hit $1 million in GP, gross profit, in less than 12 months. So we give strategies and tips and everything like that. Like we were saying at the beginning, we don't gatekeep anything. So in short, there's my nerdy comic book origin story.
That is so awesome, man. That is so cool. I like what you said about starting kind of, I call the ground room floor, where I feel like this industry, the transportation industry is an industry where it's not like an office job where you learn something and you implement. You kind of have to have instincts. You kind of have to know what's going on, because if you're speaking to dispatchers or drivers or, brokers or, 3PL companies, wherever you're at in the industry, I feel like we have a meter where we sniff it out really good if somebody is in it for just money or in it just for, as on the other side, as you do and I do, speak, speak to companies and things like that. Don't you think I think you need to pay your dues a little bit, right?
100%. I think everything in life, if it was easy, it's not worth having.
Wow.
So for me, and a great correlation to that question is, hey, if you're in sales and you're making calls to logistics managers, if they're willing to put you on a list or start giving you business after a first or second call, when early in my career, I'd be so excited for that. Oh my God, I got a one call close. But those things are not real. Right, you got to earn that customer's trust, and if a customer is going to add you onto a lead list or start sending loads, I think of two things, Mike. That A, they either have like bad credit with everybody, so they're just here to run this credit and then leave, and then secondly, or they are transactional, so they will cut you for $5. And you can have amazing loads that go through claim lists on time, everything, communication, stellar, everything like that. And then loads start dropping, and it's just like, okay, somebody else called me and gave me that. So I think that's really important, and I think it's a great point to earn your dues, and no matter what you do.
That's awesome, Ryan. I think, and that resonates and speaks to anyone who's called a customer. We know the grind of, if a customer gives you, oh yeah, just go for it. Here's my whole exclusive list. You can have it. You're my only carrier. You're my only 3PL company I'm working with. Then you should be scared to death. I mean, that's a dead giveaway. I've never had that happen where a customer just gives me the full on list. I agree with what you're saying. I think our listeners need to listen to those key points about why someone would do that. They have bad credit, or they have an ulterior motive, or something is going on. Thank you for that insight and knowledge, Ryan. That's awesome. I love those points. Can you share some key insights or lessons you've learned over your last 7+ years in this industry in particular? Is there any positives you would tell people about, or anything you've kind of picked up on the journey?
100%. I think the first thing as being in sales, Mike, sales is trained. It's not something that you get that gift of gab, and I think that's maybe from old school mentality. Like that guy can talk to anybody, or like that person is, they were born with it essentially. Definitely not. I'm a little bit introverted. I'm a little bit different kind of things. I don't necessarily like open up to crowds like right away and things like that. But what I've learned from sales is the ability I can learn these different kind of ways to talk to people and have conversations, have people open up. And for everybody out there, I really think you should, we sell all the time. Like I'm married, and I'm selling all the time. Hey baby, you want pizza? Or you want sushi tonight? And then let's call it spade a spade. She usually wins, right? With the choices, but it happens, brother. But I think the tips and tricks that I've really learned was, this can really be your life for, if you operate in one season, just go all in. This can be the life that you can really build. And for me, the big turning point was during COVID. Everybody talks about COVID, but COVID, we were all up in numbers. Like if you weren't making money during the pandemic, then you were probably a lousy salesperson, to be completely honest, right? Because money and freight was everywhere. So I think with the tips that I've kind of learned and I kind of instilled myself is that it's made me available to have conversations with people outside of the industry, things that I kind of notice about people, and having impactful conversations so that I can kind of give back more. Because people there's a negative connotation, brother, still with trucking. I did a speech a couple weeks ago to a bunch of fleet owners, and somebody made a comment where our drivers, when we're getting them uniforms, we start at 2XL. 2XL, 3XL, even up to 5XL. So when people are getting cut off on the road, or they see a truck driver, that lack of respect is still there because they see it as, I don't want to say even a blue collar. I think it's even below that. They probably compare them to somebody who's not doing anything. But with anything that I told my wife the other day, that everything touches the truck. You look around you. There's nothing here, with the exception of humans or anything like that doesn't touch a truck. So I think be persistent, have fun with it. And for me, the number one lesson I would give for everybody is, my life kind of changed when I went to freight agent, because I was a salaried sales rep before, but going into that complete, having control, kind of eat what you kill. And I hate to say that because I love animals and things like that, but I love that mentality of kind of eat what you kill, and your commission check and all that stuff. But hopefully that was helpful for the audience.
Very, very helpful. That's awesome insight. And can you talk a little bit about, I feel like when you've called, customers and tried to, build your book of business, would you agree that if you can master freight sales and customer sales in this industry, that is a transferable skill set, right, Ryan?
Yeah, 100 million%. we have built a CRM called Bridger, and I'm actually the VP of sales for that. So we've gotten into tech sales. And what I've realized in like the last 18 months of being in tech sales, it's exactly the same thing in freight sales. Everyone's going to have objections. I think in logistics specifically, is if you're a freight broker or you're an asset sales rep, you know what objections you're going to get. We don't add more brokers, pricing, customer service. You can kind of really dictate what your response is going to be. And, just not just your career. I think even with your family, like conversations just get a lot better. Friends and family, hobbies that you like to do, different things like that. I think for me personally, like I just become more, I don't want to say open-minded, but I've just been more communicative with people outside my industry, more friendly. I would say there's times that my wife and I have gone to like Marshalls and like I'm doing my own shopping and just chopping it up with like a brand new person I've never met before because there's no risk to that. So I think with sales, I think everybody should, like I was mentioning before, everybody should look into sales because we all sell something at the end of the day, and why not get paid for it? And this is the one industry I want the audience to understand too, that this is the one industry when you get into sales, in a for-profit company, so not a non-profit, but a for-profit company, sales is what brings in the revenue. They're always the last people to get laid off if the doors are going to close. There's just that job security. They're treated like most of them, to full transparency, they get paid a lot higher than the CEO and the CFO and all these people because of the work that they put in. So I think sales is definitely transferable to everybody. I don't know how it was in the US, but in Canada during the pandemic, our government gave everybody like $2,000 to stay home a month. A lot of people opened up businesses, either a logistics company or a baking company or a makeup company, or became a real estate agent. And they've made those side hustles into like full-time hustles where they're opening restaurants and they're opening like food trucks and, opening logistics companies, offices and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely 100% transferable.
That is awesome. That's awesome insight and awesome knowledge. You talked a little bit about, it's called Bridger, right? You talked a little bit about your some of your companies. Can you speak a little bit about some of the companies you're a part of and your podcast and your platform and things of that nature?
Oh yeah, 100%. So I guess this is promo time. For right now, I'm a freight agent with Wellington Group of Companies, an amazing, spectacular company. I've been there for about 4 or 5 years now, based in Ontario. Just a great family atmosphere and great team, great ops, great sales. With that, so I sell for Wellington Group of Companies as a sales. So I still do sell. So I want the audience to understand that you never get to a point in your life where you stop selling. I'm constantly selling, constantly trying to up my game as a sales rep. In terms of like my other job, VP of Sales and Marketing for Bridger Sales System. We are a logistics CRM built by logistics professionals, and it's an amazing thing. I'm not going to plug it too much, but you can take a look at bridgersalessystem.com to get a free demo and a free 30-day trial. Sales Chatter Live, live sales show Monday to Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. And like I said, we talk about tips and tricks. And lastly, I have my own show because I love to have conversations like this. So I actually got to get you on my show. It's called the Logistics Monk Show, and it's on YouTube, and it's more about just life, man. It's that personal development. I call it like I was saying with Sales Chatter, we have a mission. My mission on the Logistics Monk Show, it's a sanctuary for storytelling. So I've had authors, I've had people who've overcome cancer, I've had people who've run marathons, and we get to find that relevancy. So those are my plugs.
We really appreciate you being on the show today, Ryan. If you can please leave our listeners, we like to do this, if you can leave our listeners and our viewers with one tip of motivation moving forward that they can take into the workplace.
I love that. It's all going to work out in the end. All those sleepless nights, all that hustle that you're putting in, even the lack of hustle. Don't worry if you made 5 calls today when you were supposed to do 10. Don't worry if you were supposed to send out 10 video messages to somebody and you only sent out 1. Just keep going. Everybody always asks me, hey, what is the strategy or the biggest tip you can give for starting a podcast? And I would say it's relevant to sales or anything you want to do in life. Start it and don't stop.
I forgot it was a show. Felt like I was just talking to my brother, my friend, and that's how I like it to be. So it's awesome. We're going to leave all your links and all your information for our viewers and listeners. Thank you so much, Ryan, for your time. I really enjoyed this. I look forward to continuing to connect with you and building this friendship and brotherhood. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on, brother.
Take care.
As always, thank you for listening to the podcast. Our goal is to bring positivity to the transportation world. If you would like to bring Mike in as a speaker at your trucking company or conference, please email us at mikehartsnow@gmail.com or call us at 815-441-8234. Our website is mikeharts.com. Thanks so much for listening and be safe.